progress in achieving universal identity coverage in Nigeria. The former Nigeria Postal Service boss, speaking in a statement, said local government remains the missing link in Nigeria's identity management system and aims, hence the need for urgent integration. He, however, proposed that the NIMC's Acts be amended to authorize local governments to collect and verify identity data while maintaining integration with NIM's central database. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has frowned on the recent hike in the pump prices of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, describing it as the height of insensitivity against the masses. Senior NLC officials disclosed this in a separate interviews with newsmen on Sunday, as oil marketers reported being blamed for the recent hike in PMS prices nationwide. Similarly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery also says the rise in petrol price was not from the $20 billion Lekki-based plant, but due to an increase in the cost of crude oil, the major component for refined petroleum products. It will be recalled that on Friday, the pump prices of petrol rose to between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per litre, following the hike in the cost of the commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and various depot owners. The federal government has set up a committee of stakeholders to unravel the remote and immediate cause of Saturday's petrol tanker accident at the Diko Junction, Diko Majimina Road, Gurara local government area of Niger State. The Minister of Information and National Retention, Mohammed Idris, announced this when he led a federal government delegation to condole the Emir of Suleja, His Royal Highness Akin Zazu Suleja Mohammed Akwali, and his subjects over the tragic tanker accident. While the death toll yesterday rose to 86,555 other persons to 86. I beg your pardon. While the death toll yesterday rose to 886, 55 other persons were confirmed injured, and 80 corpses were recovered and given mass burial at Diko Primary Health Center premises. Among the stakeholders that made up the investigative committee are the Ministry of Information and National Rotation of Humanitarian Affairs, National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA), the Standard Organization of Nigeria (SOM), the Independent Petroleum Marketer Association of Nigeria (IPMAN), and Petroleum Tanker Drivers (PTD), among other relevant stakeholders. However, the committee is expected to come up with a recommendation to end such tragedy. It's no fewer than 20 victims of the recent Suleja tanker explosion have been admitted to Gwagwalada Specialty Hospital in Abuja, following an urgent directive from President Bola Tinubu for the immediate transfer of victims to tertiary medical centers for better care. A statement from the Ministry of Information and National Retention released today confirmed the action. The statement also stated that 2 additional victims were transferred to the Federal Medical Center in Jabi. Meanwhile, the minister's media aide, Mr. Rabiu Ibrahim, assures the public that the ministry will monitor the situation closely and provide regular updates. Counsel to the chairman of the Honeywell Group, Oba Otudeke, charged with 12.3 billion naira fraud, has appeared before the Federal High Court in Lagos in protest of the church today. Mr. Bodeolani Kwekwese and told the court that he was protesting because the charge had not been served on Otudeko and 2 other churches along with him. Recall that a 30-count charge was preferred by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) against Otudeko, a former managing director of First Bank PLC, Olabisi Onosanya, and a former board member of Honeywell, Soji Akintayo. They were charged alongside a firm, Arcourage Layer Limited. Meanwhile, the FCC alleged in the charge marked FHC/L/20C/2025 that the defendants obtained the sum from First Bank under false pretenses. According to EFCC, the defendants obtained the sum in tranches in 2013 and 2014 in Lagos State, adding that the defendants altered a document to deceive the bank. Still on court news, a magistrate's court in Yenagua, Bayelsa State has ordered the remand of 35-year-old Susan Morgan in custody over an alleged assassination attempt on the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil, Senator Henakin Lokbobiri. Morgan faces multiple charges, including conspiracy, armed robbery, attempted kidnapping, and illegal possession of firearms, specifically two AK-47 rifles. It was gathered that the alleged incident took place on New Year's Day, January 1, 2025, at the minister's residence in Ekiromo Town, Bayelsa State. The remand order was issued following an application filed by police prosecutor Stella Jerry Friday under the reference number YMC/516/2025, based on a warrant authorized by the State Commissioner of Police, Francis Idu. The magistrate approved Morgan's 30-day detention at the Okaka Correctional Center, allow police to deepen their investigation and apprehend 6 other suspects linked to the case. You're listening to News Express on Adamimogo 107.7 FM, transmitted live from Ido. After the break, Ekiti government issues advisory on prevention of bird flu. Please stay with us.
Hello, good people of Ekiti State and its environment. For your private, political, family, or club meetings, and so on, of not more than 50 to 100 participants, we introduce to you Adamimogo Event Hall. Yes, right at Olojudo's Palace, Adamimogo 107.7 FM's compound, Ido Ekiti. Ample parking space, good security, clean environment. You also have the opportunity to book for a media publicity of your events on our fast-growing social media platforms. All these for a talking. Simply visit us at Olojudo's Palace, Ido Ekiti, or call the following numbers for more inquiries: 0803-526-5812 or 0916-340-0878 or 0806-511-4430. You can also call 0806-380-8891 at Adamimogo Event Hall. We are waiting for your patronage.
To know your state there, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook via Adamimogo 107.7 FM. For happenings around you or news inquiries, please contact our newsroom on this number 0811-801-8242. And now to the rest of the news. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has welcomed the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mojisola Lasbat Miranda, and other principal officers of the House during a courtesy visit to his office in Alausa Ikeja earlier today. The visit, which took place ahead of the weekly State Executive Council meeting, was highlighted in the post by the Governor's Senior Special Assistant on New Media, Jobrin Gawat. Governor Sanwo-Olu, alongside his deputy, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, received the Speaker and her delegation before leading them to the council chamber, where both parties reaffirmed their commitments to maintaining an harmonious working relationship between the executive and legislative arms of government in Lagos State. Back home, the Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, paid an unscheduled visit to High Superintendent Osho Oluwasola, a courageous firefighter injured while responding to the fire outbreak at a filling station in Ado-Ekiti last week. Oyebanji visited Osho on Sunday at his residence in the Dalemo area of Ado-Ekiti to express gratitude on behalf of the government and people of the state for the firefighters' heroic efforts in preventing what could have been a catastrophic fire disaster. The visit also serves to check on Osho's recovery following his hospitalization. Osho and his wife were visibly moved by the governor's presence, describing the visit as an emotional and moral boosting experience. Meanwhile, during the 20-minute visit, Oyebanji commended Osho and his team for their swift response, emphasizing the critical role of the state fire service in ensuring public safety. Still in Ekiti State, the Ekiti State government has issued an urgent warning to poultry farmers and related stakeholders about the threat of avian influenza. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Ebenezer Boluade, stressed the importance of precautionary measures to prevent the spread of this highly infectious zoonotic disease. It should be noted that avian influenza, also known as bird flu, can be transmitted between birds and humans, posing a serious health risk and potentially devastating economic consequences for the poultry industry. Mr. Boluade called on poultry farmers to prioritize biosecurity measures, including regular cleaning and disinfection of their clothing, footwear, equipment, and farm vehicles. He noted that proactive approach is crucial to prevent the spread of avian influenza into Ekiti State and protect both human and animal health, as well as the economic stability of the poultry industry. Away from Ekiti to neighboring Ondo State, where the Social Democratic Party SDP in Ondo State has rejected the result of last Saturday's local government elections, which saw candidates of the All Progressives Congress APC declare winners of both the chairmanship and councillorship positions across the 18 local government areas. The party described the election as a show of shame, citing widespread irregularities, harassment, and intimidation of its agents during the process. In a statement made in Akure, Ondo State, chairman of the SDP, Ebenezer Akimbuli, condemned the elections as a selection too new, calling for an immediate cancellation of the poll and the removal of the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission ODEC chairman, Joseph Aremo. Akimbulu criticized Aremo for failing to live up to his promise of being a fair and impartial umpire. He alleged that electoral officers were not provided with the necessary materials to record results and that APC candidates were announced as winners without any official result being made known to opposition parties. On Business Today, the shareholders of Arik Air and indigenous airline currently under the control of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria have debunked claims that the debt accruable to the airline's owner, Johnson Aromen Ekedi, has risen to 455 billion naira. The shareholders wrote a statement signed by their representative Godwin Adeloje, described as fallacy and debt record of outcome against the Arik founder. I recall that earlier Makam through its head of operation communication, Jude Nwazo, said the total debt of Aromen Ekedi was 455.17 billion naira as of December 31st, 2024, in all its free investments. AMCOM also said that its intervention in the troubled airline in February 2017 saved the carrier from liquidation, insisting that it would ensure the recovery of the total debts owed to the corporation by various business organizations in Arike. Meanwhile, giving the breakdown of the total debt, Nwazo alleged that Arik, as of December 2024, owned AMCOM 227.6 billion naira, Roxin Engineering 163.5 billion naira, while Ojema Firms owned the corporation another 14 billion naira, totally 455 billion naira. However, while reacting to this, Arik shareholders refused to comment on the matter, saying it was currently before the courts. On foreign sea, an incoming White House official has today disclosed that President-elect Donald Trump will issue executive orders upon taking office lashing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and proclaiming that the U.S. federal government will only recognize two sexes, male and female. The official added that more actions on their as diversity and inclusion programs are often referred to were expected very soon, but gave no other details about the planned steps or when they will be announced. He noted that as part of the executive orders, federal funds will not be used to promote gender ideology, which is a loose term often used to reference any ideology that promotes non-traditional views on sex and gender. Now, sports. Nigeria's cricket team, the Yellow Greens, today defeated New Zealand at the 2025 ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup in Malaysia. The junior female team sparred scenes with a 2-run win over New Zealand despite a delayed debut. The Yellow Greens captain Lucky Piatti hits Nigeria's first six at the Women's World Cup in a steadied innings as the junior Yellow Greens finished with 65 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in 13 overs. In tennis, serial winner and world number 1 in men's tennis Novak Djokovic has reached the quarterfinals of the Australian Open after the commanding straight sets win over Czech 24th seed Jiri Lehecka. The Serb, who is chasing a record extended to the 5th Grand Slam title, secured the match despite late resistance from his opponents. The last 8 Djokovic will face his fierce rival, Spanish star Carlos Alcaraz, who has bested him in the last 2 Wimbledon finals. Carlos Alcaraz advanced earlier after British number 1 Jack Draper retired due to a hip injury. With those sports stories, we end this edition of News Express on Adamimogo 107.7 FM Ido-Ekiti. Before we go, the highlights again. We told you that the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance to ensure the full release of the 2024 capital allocation to the security and intelligence sector, emphasizing its crucial role in national security. Remember, we also told you that the Ekiti State government has issued an urgent warning to poultry farmers and related stakeholders about the threats of avian influenza. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Ebenezer Boluade, stressed the importance of precautionary measures to prevent the spread of this highly infectious zoonotic disease. We lastly informed you that an incoming White House official has today disclosed that President-elect Donald Trump will issue executive orders upon taking office slashing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and proclaiming that the U.S. federal government will only recognize 2 sexes, male and female. And that's a News Express from Adamimogo 107.7 FM, Lojidos Palace, Ido-Ekiti. On behalf of the production crew, led by Michael Joseph Jason,